everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Love for Intuitive Astrology. So for everyone who's new, my name is Michelle and I'm an intuitive astrologer. I combine my knowledge of astrology with my intuition, and this will be reflected in this video. So today I'm going to talk about the upcoming new moon that will happen in the sign of Cancer on the 14th of July, 2026 at 21 degrees. And I will start off with explaining this new moon in general. We're going to look at the aspects, and then I'm going to predict for each and every single sign. Now, keep in mind, most accurate is your rising sign, so check that first. And for additional information, you can check your sun sign and your moon sign. So let's have a look at this upcoming new moon. So this new moon will be in the sign of Cancer, and Cancer is ruled by the moon. So here we have a new moon where we're going to dive a little bit into our feelings. We're going to dive a little bit into our past because Cancer rules the fourth house. Then we have Mercury Retrograde. So here we're going more internal. So we're going to internalize our feelings. We're going to have conversations with ourselves. This is a time to spend with your family because Cancer is related to the fourth house and family. So talking with your family, reconnecting with them. You might have some childhood memories that are going to come back to you. And these could be very good memories, or these could be memories and opportunities that come forward for you to heal. Okay, so don't back away from any uncomfortable feelings because that literally tells you what you need to heal around this time. Okay, so we also have Jupiter now in the sign of Leo since the 30th of June, and Jupiter is in an opposition with Pluto. Pluto is retrograde. So again, we're going to dive into our belief systems, right? We're going to dive into what we believe is freedom, because Aquarius is about freedom. This is about community, and Leo is about our self-expression. So how can you express yourself more? Okay. Also, Jupiter is in a trine with Neptune, went retrograde on the 6th of July. So we're going to dive into our spirituality and using that for creative expression, or simply you're going to maybe revise a hobby or something that you kind of stuffed away, and now it's time to recover that hobby and to go back into your creativity and also use that for your job. Okay, so this is a month where you're kind of realigning with yourself, picking up old ideas, and that's also indicated with this South Node, right? South Node is with Venus in Virgo. So here we're going back to the past. Could be things from past lives as well. And Venus is related to creativity again, right? This is related to love, self-love, even relationships. So for some of you, relationships could be coming back. Okay, past relationship, maybe someone you've dated before. And when this person is coming back, sometimes it's to, reconciliate and continue a past relationship, or it's to close down something and make space for something new. Okay, so this is a very healing month. This is about breaking free from old patterns because, Virgo is very critical, sometimes very perfectionistic. So maybe you have this view of love that is super perfectionistic. If love is like this, then it will be perfect. Or if I have this certain body type, or if I'm, this certain standard, then love will come to me. And sometimes we just need to be ourselves, right? Jupiter in Leo is about following your passion, following your heart. And then it will be much easier to attract someone because we are our authentic version, right? We have Saturn in Aries. So when we are fully aligning with ourselves, then another person can more easily relate to you because they're like, oh, this person is interested in these kind of hobbies or this kind of job, or likes to go do outdoor sports, like specific things. And then it's much easier to relate, because when we are not our authentic selves, then we attract someone that maybe is not really at the same frequency with us. Okay. Sometimes it's just closing down something without meeting the person. So it's about going back, right? So this is about really letting go of everything that no longer serves you. Okay, Venus is also money. So, and Virgo can be related to your job. So, patterns in work. Have you worked a lot for very little money? Do you need to work on your self-worth? Or do you have trouble with being very critical on your work? I need to have this amount of, this level, and then I can get that payment. So, here we need to kind of rebalance ourselves and see, what do we need to let go of? What belief systems are holding us back? Which situations or belief systems around money and relationships do we need to let go of? And you can even be in a relationship now, but sometimes even sometimes we are connected still with people from the past, which can hold us back. So if Venus, for example, and I'm going to discuss it with all the signs, but if it's in, for example, the house of friendships, it could be that certain ties to the past, to a certain friendship, can maybe hold you back for you to meet new friends, or for you to find your creativity, because maybe those people have been critical of you and you started to believe what has been told to you, right? Because the most important intuition is our own. So this new moon is really asking you to go inward and to really feel, what are your emotions telling you, like what is important. We have the south node and Venus in a square with Uranus and the north node, right? So we have this T-square. So it's breaking free from old habits, going into the north node in Pisces, where you're just going to surrender and let things unfold naturally. And even though I'm an astrologer, and it's so interesting to see all the planets and to see all the predictions, sometimes we also need to have a level of surrender, because if we're going to hold on so much, and many times it is accurate, but you can literally block yourself if you're just going to investigate every single thing instead of letting it unfold a little bit. So that's why I chose to be an intuitive astrologer. So partly I encourage people to follow their intuitive insights, to follow their own intuition, and also look at the charts, because you want to become the best version of yourself, right? So picking up old creative projects, breaking free from certain belief systems, being less critical on yourself, right? Finding a balance between the south node there in Virgo and the north node in Pisces. So also, like, prepare, plan, but don't stick and hold on to one perspective, because Uranus here is disruptive and can tell you, maybe a different path is better for you. Why don't you open up and look at it from a different perspective? So it's definitely very beautiful time. Maybe not 100% the right time to move forward. This is really to look inward and see, how can we improve certain skills, certain situations. So when next month is starting, you can fully go ahead. We have Mercury retrograde also in a square with Saturn. So Saturn is in Aries, right? And Mercury is in Cancer. Like, Mercury is not super strong in Cancer, because this is more about your emotions, and Mercury wants to be very logical. I want to see everything with my brain. I want to have a logical explanation. So it's time to feel your emotions, go into your intuition. You can talk with family. You can be by yourself, be at home, have a journal, do some writing. I really feel that this is such a beautiful time to make space for the new thing to come. Okay. So if things are not going as fast as you would like them to go, just give it a little bit of time, because definitely August is going to be a little bit faster. This is about letting the universe show you which way to go, okay, and what you actually would need to change. Yeah, or no, did I cover everything? I think so. Yeah, Jupiter is trine Neptune and sextile Uranus. So again, we have this, you know, Leo is a sign of creativity and fully feeling what you're doing in life. So if, for example, you are in a job that you don't feel like you're behind, it's going to be more difficult. So this month you're going to feel like, oh yeah, I work for this company and I'm selling something and I'm not behind the product. And it's going to be very hard because every day you have to force yourself to sell it. So it's time to be behind what you're selling and to be fully be able to express yourself when you're in the job or when you're doing your work. Maybe you need to adjust something. Maybe you need to think about, is this something I want to stay in, right? Even with the South Node and Venus in your current relationship, what do you like, what don't you like, is this the right partner for you? Okay. And to take away people's fears, I always say, even if there's difficult aspects, actually these aspects are building a relationship. So a relationship that's not strong to begin with, when there's a difficult aspect, a transit coming, it will break the relationship. But if the relationship is good, it will actually help you, and you will grow stronger from that. And I know that a lot of relationships that were long lasting, they have been through a lot of difficult situations. Okay. And even for some of you are in a relationship, someone can still come back from the past. Okay. Don't let yourself be infatuated into doing things that you're going to regret later. So I'm ready to go to all the signs. So let's start with Aries. So Aries, sun, moon, and rising. For you, we have this new moon in Cancer in your 4th house. So here you're going to reflect maybe a little bit on your living situation. So maybe you're thinking, is this the right place for me? Would I like to move? Is this where I'm happy? Maybe you want to make some changes to your home, to your house, redecorate it, and make it a place where you feel fully comfortable. Okay, because with Cancer in the 4th house, it needs to feel homey and cozy, and have like a warm environment. It's a perfect time to talk with your family. It's definitely a nostalgic time, like going back to your childhood, have certain discussions. We have Jupiter in the 5th house. So some of you Aries, especially Aries rising, you're maybe going to talk about children, or pregnancy can happen, or in general, you're just going to have a really good relationship with your children. You're going to be super creative. So spend some time at home. Think about the things that you would like to develop if you're working on a creative project. Uranus and Mars are now separating more, okay? It still accounts for a little bit around this new moon that, when you drive, don't drive too angry. But you might also have sudden ideas of projects that you want to do, especially regarding communication, okay? And for some of you, you might have had some disruptive communication at work, because we have the South Node with Venus there in the 6th house, and, squaring Uranus in the 3rd and the North Node in the 12th house. So some of you have moved away from a job and you're looking for a new job. Or even in some cases, you could go back to a job that you've worked in before, okay? Neptune is now retrograde, which that went retrograde on the 6th of July, will especially impact Aries if it's around 4, 5, 6, around a few degrees around this Neptune, which is now at 4 degrees. So you're feeling a bit more dreamy, zoning out a little bit. You definitely could have some visions, spiritual insights if you are on the spiritual path. And these will be indications on what you need to do next, okay? So a change of diet for some of you, changing diet, maybe resting a little bit more, because the North Node in Pisces is definitely encouraging you to rest and maybe take your time. Like you could be in between jobs and you're just figuring out what would be the best job to go for. So bringing up the past so you can heal. Maybe you're bringing up your own childhood because you're expecting a child, right? It's also definitely romance with Jupiter in the 5th house. It's not committed romance yet. So maybe you feel like, I want to explore. I want to see what's out there. And then see who is the best match. Okay. And if you're in a relationship, it's just beautiful time to connect, to go for a dinner, because Cancer is nurturing. So maybe you want to spend time at home, or you go in the garden and you have, I don't know, some people want to have a picnic or a barbecue or something like that. Okay. But yeah, watch your health. Take it serious if anything comes up, because the South Node, is about to go. It's going to be very soon in the sign of Leo. So now it's rounding up its time in the 6th house. So are you sticking to certain routines? Are you, work out too much or too little? Are you very critical of your body? So pay attention to that. And since we have so many past life experiences, I pulled from the closet the past life cards to give you a past life card. Okay, let's go. We're getting mother. Yeah, some of you will become a mother, or there will be some healing happening with your own mother, maybe a connection, because we have this new moon in Cancer. Okay. Connecting with you being a mother, okay, for your children, connecting with your own mother. And you can even be a mother of pets, right? If you're not interested in having children, I feel like you can just be a mother for pets. If you're a teacher, you're definitely also like a mother, right? You're taking care of many children and you see them almost every day. So in this way, I feel like you're reconnecting to your nurturing side. I'm getting biblical. Okay. So some of you may be exploring the Bible, going back into it, looking at the stories. How do they match for you? Okay. I always say I'm very neutral in this channel because for me, it's all about one love. But I think we should definitely do our research and see what suits you best. So on this channel, everyone is welcome, every religion, every person, because I think in the end, everything is just perspective, and whatever belief system works for you is best for you, and no one can tell you what is better. And I think if we all respect each other in that sense and say, I respect what you believe and I respect what you believe, I think the world would be a much nicer place. So I feel like we should let each other free, right? We have Pluto in the 11th house opposing Jupiter. So this would be breaking free from, all this, I think it's called dogma or I don't know, like all these rules, what should be. Why don't we connect first to ourselves? What fits with me? And respect that. Like one person sees the world through these eyes and another person sees the world through other eyes. And I think as long as our intention is good, it doesn't matter what you believe in. Okay. So Jupiter is also trining Neptune. Okay. So very creative time, very spiritual time. You will have so many ideas. So write them down, Aries. I'm going to do one more card for you because I feel so enthusiastic. I don't know. Farm. Some of you want to live on a farm, or you're thinking about having land. Okay. Growing your own vegetables, growing your own food, or maybe have some animals that you connect with. So yeah, this is not a time of extreme action. This is more time about reflecting, seeing what no longer serves us. We think sometimes that's standing still is bad, but sometimes actually reflecting and standing still for a moment makes you go much faster after. Because if we're trying to push and there's no space, it's going to be much more difficult. So Yeah, then Mercury is also square Saturn, so just be a little careful with like miscommunication, or you might feel like you're scared to speak up about something. Just prepare yourself very well, introspect, and then speaking up will be so much easier. So that would be my message for you, my amazing Aries. Like, I would love to hear from you in the comments. What are your plans for July? What are you gonna do? Um, yeah, and subscribe to my channel if you want to help me expand it. I so appreciate you, and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much. Let's move on to Taurus. So, Taurus, Sun, and Rising, we have this new moon in Cancer on the 14th of July at 21 degrees in your third house. Okay, so Cancer is ruled by the moon. So this is really about your nurturing qualities. This is about your emotions. So we also have Mercury retrograde. So you might be a little bit nostalgic in the way you speak. You want to speak about your feelings. And actually, what's going to be very helpful for you right now, Taurus, is to listen to your intuition, because Mercury is very logical and Cancer is, you know, all about feelings, emotions, intuition. So you have to listen to your intuition and then use logic, okay? Combine those two together, because if you don't feel what you're going to speak about right now, maybe it's going to feel like not complete. Okay, so use both your logic and your feelings. We also have, with Mercury retrograde, you could go on a trip that you've been before, maybe traveling with your siblings or with your family, maybe to a place where you always go, or a happy place that feels very good for you. Okay, we have Mercury retrograde in a square with Saturn in the 12th. So it could be that you have some difficulty sleeping. So meditation will help here, because 12th house loves meditation. Or write down all your feelings, emotions, things that are coming up. Even a study, maybe you have to do some resit or an exam. You have to re-exam something. You're reading over something you've done before, and that's going to keep you a little bit awake. So take your time. Make sure that you feel what you're doing, that you feel what you're studying, so it becomes much more clear for you. Jupiter is in the fourth house. So definitely you're starting to be itchy, maybe if you want to move or redecorate your home. Redecorating right now is fine. Okay. If you want to move, just make sure when you sign the contract, if you can wait until Mercury is direct, okay, I would wait for that. Unless you have Mercury retrograde in your chart, that's a different story. Okay. Then it's totally fine. It just means also that you have to double check all the papers. But this year is very good, Taurus, for moving, renting, selling. Pluto is in the 10th house, so you might really feel like maybe shifting your career, getting ideas on what you like and don't like about your job. So maybe that will come up. We have the South Node with Venus in the 5th house. So a lot of you Taurus are going to pick up an idea or something you've worked with before, a creative hobby. Okay, it doesn't need to be for money, but Virgo is so critical. So sometimes you feel like, oh, I cannot do this hobby or this creative project because it's not good enough. And you become very hard on yourself. So try to be more open, and you can always check your work later, but it's also about enjoying it in the moment. So you're letting go of this critical belief system towards your hobbies. And also in love, right? South Node Venus in the 5th house can bring back someone you've dated in the past. And then see if that's someone you want to continue with, or if that's someone you want to close the book with, okay? To remove that heavy karmic cycle and make space for something new, okay? But it doesn't mean it cannot work out, right? I've seen if you in your chart have indications of being with someone from a past life or from the past, okay, you can definitely meet someone even during Venus retrograde, Venus conjunct South Node, okay? But yeah, you always have to take it one step at a time to know what this is about. But don't push people away or be too critical. Give it some time, okay? If you are already in a relationship, it could be that you're talking about the past, things maybe you want to let go of, things that you like about each other, or things that maybe could change a little bit. Okay. Venus and the South Node are also squaring Uranus and Mars. So kind of like a T square, because the North Node is in Pisces. So yeah, sudden changes. Also, maybe you've done a creative project in the past and Uranus there unlocks some money. And suddenly someone wants to buy something from you, something you've let go of, never mind, nobody's going to buy this. And then suddenly you have a sale and you're like, okay, maybe this is something I should continue. Okay. So sudden changes. Be a little bit careful about unexpected pregnancy, things like that, because it can come suddenly. You will have a child from a past life. And talking about past lives, I have these cards. Let's see what comes up. Chiron now is also in your sign. Okay. Be very gentle to yourself. Some wounds might come up regarding, your body, the way you look, and very often I've seen that Taurus rising especially are very stunning. Okay. So don't doubt yourself. When is something good enough, right? When are we beautiful enough? Because very often if we find ourselves beautiful, no matter what you look like, you will exude self-love and people will be very drawn to you anyways. They can't explain it, this feeling. So self-love is always good. Okay, I'm getting communal living. So we have now also the North Node in Pisces, right? It's going to round up the 11th house. So maybe some of you have been living with other people, cohabiting, thinking about communal living, making money also with a group. I'm getting Celtic. So you might be very drawn to Celtic, the Celtic traditions, or the regions where there's a lot of history related to Celtic traditions, or maybe you're just literally living in the places where they have these traditions, going back to the motherland, right? This is time to reconnect with your roots, reconnect with your past. You could be someone that's really working with some herbs and working with plants, plant medicine, things like that. Let me get you one more card. Authority figures. Okay. So with Pluto in the 10th house, it could be that you're having a bit of trouble with authority, like your boss. Maybe you have to get some paperwork done. Some disagreements with authority might happen, okay? But use Jupiter in the 4th house. Maybe your family can advise you what to do in the situation, or when you spend time at home, you will know better what to do, Taurus. So that would be my message for you. I would love to hear from you in the comments. How are you experiencing this month so far? What are your plans? Also subscribe to my channel to help me expand this channel. And thank you so much for being here. And until next time. So Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising. For you, we have this new moon on the 14th of July in your 2nd house at 21 degrees. And this new moon is really indicating that, you're going to focus on your income, on your possessions. And we also have Mercury retrograde here. So maybe you're going to revise the amount of money that you have, but keep in mind that Cancer is ruled by the moon. So your moods might be fluctuating, and so is your spending. So maybe you're overspending, or you're trying to hold on to money, because Cancer is also related to, to the claws, holding on to it. So make sure that you spend what you have and that you look at your budget in a healthy way. You can also feel in your intuition, like how much should I more or less spend, and how much should you keep for savings. We also have Mercury retrograde in a square with Saturn. Saturn is in the 11th house, so there might be some difficulty with friends that you're going to spend, some amount of money, and then there's a miscommunication with friends because no, you said you were going to pay for this and you paid for that. So just make sure that you're very clear with your friends, but also with your community. Like, let's say you are spending money on a community and it turns out more than you wanted to spend. So have clear communication upfront that you're not going to a workshop or some kind of community and you end up spending more than you wanted to spend. We also have this south node in a conjunction with Venus. So in the fourth house. So this can mean that there could be a sudden move. It's also in a square with Uranus in the first house and, the north node in the 10th house. So sudden move for a job. Uranus in the first house is really giving this rebellious vibe. So maybe you really want to experience different environments, different situations. You want to feel more open, more free, especially when, Mars was in a conjunction with Uranus, where you felt like very outspoken and what you want to do with your life. Okay. Maybe you want to move back to your home place, home country, or back to a place where you have lived before and you feel more comfortable in this place. Or just, cleaning up the home, making sure it looks nice. We have Virgo there in the fourth house. So clean home. And for you, that's equals a clean mind. Okay. You could also be meeting someone from the past, okay, through the fourth house. So it could be true family. They're trying to introduce you to someone and you're going to be happy with that, or maybe not. Really, that depends on you. Jupiter in Leo is now in the third house. So great for studying, writing, speaking, of course, with Mercury retrograde square Saturn. This is not in its full potential yet. It will be when Mercury is going to be direct. Okay. And it's opposing Pluto in the ninth house. So you're definitely doubting about your belief systems. What do you stand for? It's a great placement for selling because maybe you want to look at psychology. What are people's needs? How can I sell best? How can I help people best? Your communication is just much more spot on, and it's very good for creative writing as well. And let me get you a card, Gemini. Baby steps. Look at that. Action, follow your intuition before it makes sense. So sometimes we have this feeling, this intuitive feeling that we should do something, but we're trying to logically explain it why we feel a certain thing. And you just have to take like baby steps towards something. So everything will unfold with time, slowly. And then it will start to make sense. Like sometimes we're trying to pressure to make our intuition make sense. Like you feel something, you're like, why do I feel this way? I don't know even why. Okay. But slowly later on, you're like, aha, now I understand why I shouldn't go to this place, or I should let go of this or let go of that. Because the South Node in Venus, in a square with Uranus there, right? Maybe you're letting go of, maybe your family was a bit critical on you. And you hear this voice in your mind, and now you're like, no, I know what I want to do. I want to break free of this belief system. That's their opinion. But if you feel something very strongly, it's very important to follow that. I'm getting lost lands. Soul memories and gifts. You've done this before, so maybe some past life talents are coming back. With South Node and Venus in the fourth house, it could be related also to houses, right? Design. Maybe you're really good at decorating places. Yeah, working with families, psychology, things like that. So a past life gift could be activated around this time, okay? But let it slowly unfold and see where it takes you. So that would be my message for you, my amazing Gemini. Thank you so much for being here, and until next time. Let's move on to Cancer. Cancer, Sun, and Rising. So we have this new moon in Cancer on the 14th of July at 21 degrees in your first house. So especially you're going to be highly impacted if you yourself have your Sun, and Rising around 21 degrees, so 5 degrees up, 5 degree down. But in general, it will impact you, okay? We have Mercury retrograde here as well. So you're going to be kind of in your feelings, okay? You're going to feel about who am I? What do I want to present myself as? Like, what is important to you? Who were you in the past? You might have some nostalgia looking back at your identity, looking at who you were before and who you are now. We have Mercury retrograde in a square with Saturn in the 10th. So could it be that you change for a certain job, or that maybe you cannot be 100% yourself in the workplace? And how can you change that? What can you do about that? Okay. Jupiter now moved into your second house on the 30th of June. So this is very positive. This is good for income, especially for Cancer rising. You feel more worthy of yourself. So this might change. Like, I'm not going to work like over hours because I've done that for so many years, and, I deserve a bit more money, or, you could get a raise even. So Saturn there, the 10th house, will give a bit of heaviness in work, maybe responsibility. And in some cases, Saturn can restrict. So it can remove you from a job, and then you can reconsider something that, would be more suiting for you. Now we have the South Node and Venus there in the third house. So you could be traveling with a sibling, going back to a place you've been before. It could be communicating with a sibling, okay? Talking about past situations when you grew up. If your sibling is a little bit critical, this might be something you let go of. Like, of course, they can have their opinion, but that doesn't have to mean that it's truth, okay? So that's something you could be letting go of. Also, it's in a square with Uranus in the 12th house. So maybe you're feeling a bit restless, like you can't sleep, especially if you're traveling. You might be having difficulty sleeping, okay? And that was especially at the beginning of this month when Uranus and Mars were in a conjunction in the 12th house. Mars in the 12th house usually means that, take it easy, take it slow, because energy might be quickly gone. Come quickly, and then quickly might be going away. Going back over a study, so something you have studied before, looking over it, okay, what did I learn? What can I do to, change it? Maybe going over some past, something you've written before or research you've done before, finishing it now, or just revisiting it, okay? Verbalizing your love language to your partner, like, what do I need to feel loved? What do I need to feel understood as well? So we're talking about communication here. So a very nostalgic time where we're looking at what to let go of so we can move on and move faster after, Mercury is direct, after, the planets are out of all this past life and past energy. Sometimes it's good to sit still and make space, right? We're always rushing. That's what we learn in this society. If you rush, you're going to get things done quicker and it's going to be better. So I get authority figures. So indeed, there could be some difficulty with your boss. With Saturn in the 10th house, you might have some disagreements because Mercury is retrograde in a square with Saturn in the 10th. I'm getting orphan. Okay, this could be literally you are an orphan, or you feel sometimes an orphan when it comes to your parents, or you want to help them, right? Some of you want to help them, or just feel like a time where maybe support is not 100% there. This is a time where you support yourself. This is a time where you get like your inner power comes forward, okay? Sometimes that feels like a lonely time, but it's good sometimes that we learn how to rely on ourselves. And sometimes when we do that, support is coming again, okay? But right now, it's just a time where a lot of people feel a lot of feelings. And I've seen that myself around me, where everyone is so much in their own emotions and their own situations that it's much harder to help other people. So yeah, give it some time if I'm speaking to you, because I know this is not for everyone, but I'm sure that some of you are watching that, when you meditate and when you close your eyes and when you connect to your heart, sometimes you realize that we're not alone at all. And this is a time to introspect and to really feel what it is that you want to do. You want to study, you want to learn in life, what is important to you. So now that's what you're going through to take the next steps when the time comes, okay? Persecution. So these are past life cards. So it could be that there's a fear that you're doing something wrong, right? Because the South Node and Venus in the third house could be very critical. So maybe you're afraid that, what if I take this path? Is that going to be the wrong path for me? Is that going to be not the right thing to do? The thing is, when we have options sometimes, right? We can go this way, we can go this way, and we're all ending up in the same destination. I don't mean, passing over, which is also a destination we all have. That's not what I mean. But to a certain goal, there's different ways to get there. And sometimes we have to take the wrong path in order to take the right path. So if you think about it like that, you can't really make a mistake. Okay. So I think that it's okay to try something and then see if that works out. And if it doesn't work out, I think we're so afraid to fail and to try something new because maybe it fails. And what would people think? What would I think? I would blame myself. But we have this life and we need to make the best of it. Why not just try it? Okay. Don't be extremely reckless, but if you can really think about, the money I have, or I will do something on the side and see how it goes. And then some things work out, some things don't work out, some things work out later. It's okay. Why not? Why not be so sweet to ourselves? Why not let ourselves experience that instead of thinking about it and then not doing it? Okay. And then we regret it later, and regret is not a good thing. Because even myself, I've had many failures. I've been very open about it. Some things I tried didn't work out, but I learned so much. And then I tried something else and it did work out, and it's okay. It's fine. It's all part of the journey. I think we are trying to be so perfect, all of us. So I want to break that stigma or, this thought that we all have to be so perfect. So social media perfect, okay? Don't have to be. So yeah, that would be my message for you, my amazing Cancer. Thank you so much for being here. Let me know what your plans are for July. What are you going to do this month? And also don't forget to subscribe to my channel to help me expand it and share the message. So thank you so much for being here. And until next time. Let's move on to Leo. So Leo, Sun and Rising. I hope you're having such a wonderful time now. Jupiter going into your sign. Okay, it will take some time to unfold. Sometimes it will be right away. Sometimes it takes some time. Before I go into this new moon, I just want to express that what Jupiter does, because Jupiter is giving us what we need, not what we want. So when Jupiter comes and transits our house, people expect miracles. I'm going to be an overnight millionaire. I'm going to be overnight this. Sometimes it can simply give you this positive vibe, this positive feeling, this optimism to make certain decisions. And it's for our expansion. So sometimes that means letting go of a job, letting go of a relationship, making space for something better to come. And in some cases, for some people, if it highlights certain planets, right, it can definitely give external rewards, okay? But we don't know your karma without looking at your chart, and you have to look at your house. You have to look at where it is at, right? If you're rising, of course, it's in the first house, but it's going to give you what you need, not always what you want. And when you look back, it's always the year that you think, oh, yeah, that changed. That was, it can be subtle, but it can be significant on the long run. Okay. So this new moon is going to be in your 12th house, Leo. So this time is time to relax, go to the sea, take a bath, go to the river, and really just treat yourself well, self-reflect. What can you do in order to achieve the things that you want to achieve? The ideas that you have that might come up now Jupiter is in your sign. So sometimes we think run, run, run means achieving. Sometimes it's the person who takes their time, who reflects, and then suddenly goes much faster. Because sometimes we have to make this space. That's the time now. Mercury is retrograde in the 12th house as well, squaring Saturn in the ninth. So this is a reflection on, what do you think about traveling? Do you want to travel right now? Thinking about the world. What is your belief system about the world as well? Jupiter is trining Neptune, now retrograde, went retrograde on the 6th of July. So a very spiritual time for you. You might have downloads if you're on the spiritual path, intuitive insights about what you're going to do next. Okay, Jupiter is also opposite Pluto. It's trining Neptune, sextiling Uranus. So new ideas on, what you want in a relationship. What are the patterns that you need to let go of? We also have the South Node in Venus. So any patterns that no longer serve you, any things in your relationship that maybe you would like to transform, you're going to be so optimistic. You're going to bring it in a, nice way. So your partner, if someone gets triggered, I always say, if someone gets very triggered when you say something, it's normal, but then people have to come back to themselves and say, okay, yeah, maybe I've done that and I can work on that, right? This is a healthy relationship. But if someone is triggered, walks away, being very immature about it, it's very hard to maintain a long-term relationship because then you cannot talk about it. It's like, yeah, you just accept me as I am and I don't want you to tell me anything. How do we grow? How do we become better people? We have a relationship because the other person can reflect back on you, your blind spots, your shadow work. Okay. A lot of people want a soulmate. So if that's what you want, then you have to communicate. And you have to be okay with uncomfortable truths because that's going to help you grow. Now, the South Node and Venus in the second house could be that you're making money with a past project you've done. Okay, maybe a creative project, you kind of let it go, and then suddenly there is money coming to you. In some cases, it can be expenditures as well. Okay, it can be either or. It depends on the karma because South Node is unpredictable. Sometimes cuts off money, sometimes gives you money. Okay. But usually the less ego attached, the more you receive in, if you want to work with these alignments. So the South Node and Venus are also squaring Uranus in the 11th. So make good agreements with your friends when it comes to money. Uranus, Mars were very close to each other at the beginning of the month. So there could be some difficulty with expressing your, speech through social media or through, with your friends. Now it's a bit softer, okay? So it's not so intense anymore, but do be very clear with your friends about money, okay? Especially if you're traveling together, who's paying what and how are we going to divide this? Yeah, it's time to revise your self-worth as well. Like, what am I worthy of? What is the money I should ask? And maybe you want to let go of some belongings. You feel like you kind of want to let go of your stuff. Okay. Or do some investments, okay? But we still have Mercury retrograde, so take your time. Okay, what do we have here? Birth as a portal. So it could be that you're going to this new beginning, right? A birth is literally a birth of a child for some of you Leos, but it can also mean that you're going through this new beginning. Jupiter in your first house or conjunct your sun or your moon, you're going towards this new beginning. I'm getting called. So it's like you're being called to do something. This is what Jupiter usually does. It gives you like this inner feeling, and it's going to guide you towards a different path, or maybe you have to adjust your path a little bit, and you're going to be brave enough to make that new start. Okay. So if there's any time, now is a good time, okay, to think about it. And then when Mercury is retrograde, you're going to go very, very fast. So new relationships can come this year, new job, birth, literal birth. It's going to give you a new beginning that is going to last for the upcoming 12 years, okay? Do I say that correctly? Yeah, upcoming 12 years. All right. What do we have? Transportation. So some of you are going to buy a new car. Okay. Just double check everything. The papers is very important to check. You could be traveling through train. We literally see a train here, or booking a trip that you're going to travel by train. We have biblical. Okay. So maybe looking into biblical stories, how they resonate with you, looking at the history. I said it in another sign when I had the same cards in this channel. I'm open for any religion. I always believe that it doesn't matter what you believe. Everybody has its right to its own perspective. What matters is intention with everything, okay? You can be a very religious person with a bad intention. You could be an atheist with a good intention, okay? So doesn't matter what you believe in, because ultimately the world is made of energies, so it's intention that matters, and whatever guidance you follow to execute that intention, that good intention, that doesn't really matter. So good intention is most important, right? And I think that's what we need to do first. Look at ourselves. Are we a good person? Are we trying the best we can? Or are we easily drawn into, but he did and she did, so I do as well, to get back to that person, okay? So when we're trying the best we can with the best intention we have, you're burning your karmas. So that's the compass and then it doesn't matter from which side you come, okay? So yeah, that would be my message for you, my amazing Leos. If you like this video, subscribe to my channel to expect many more videos. Also, I would love to hear from you in the comments, what you're going to do, if you're going to relax this day, what your plans are. So thank you so much, Leo. And until next time, let's go to Virgo. So Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising, we have this new moon in Cancer at 21 degrees in your 11th house. It's conjuncting Mercury retrograde. So this time is really about, hanging out with your friends, and your friends should feel like you're home, okay? Sharing your feelings with friends, maybe talking about the past, things you've been through. We do have Mercury retrograde in a square with Saturn in the 8th house. So it's maybe not such a good time to talk about really your secrets right now, or financial situations. It's more time to talk about memories, feelings, okay? But not so much that there might be some miscommunication happening there, okay? Also, investments in organizations, really, really double check everything, because it might not be completely what it seems. Also, the South Node is going over your ascendant very soon, or your Sun, Moon, and Rising, if you have, 0 up to 2 degree, now it's at 1 degree, so it's about to go into Leo, but you're impacted by this South Node. If, between 0 and 5 degrees, you're still going to feel it. And it's really going to make you let go of old patterns, Virgo. Critical patterns, because Virgo, you can be so critical of yourself sometimes. Like, you give, or do, because you feel like it's not enough, because you're analyzing and you're thinking, oh yeah, but I do this and this person did that. Is that always trying to analyze and see if what you do is the right thing? We have a conjunct Venus. Okay, so this is about self-love. This is about your identity. So what can you do to let go of unhealthy belief systems about who you are so you can love yourself more, so you can be in this relationship? North Node in Pisces. If you're already in a relationship as well, like what is hindering or what could be hindering your relationship? Could it be that you're trying to please too much, give too much, give too little? Okay, but I know my Virgos mostly give too much. So set healthy boundaries. We also have Venus and the South Node in a square with Uranus. So yeah, a breakthrough at work or seeing things differently at work. Some of you would have walked away from work as well because we have Uranus in a conjunction with Mars. Now it's separating, so it's finally like going more easy. The energy is not so intense anymore, but something that happens at work could be changing the way you see yourself. Should I stand more up for myself? And just have an more overview of, maybe you let things happen, even though the warnings, you keep trying, and somewhere you have to set a certain boundary, and that could end up into anger or more harsh speech. So talk with your friends, not too much, or things that 8th house related, right? But it will help to talk with them. We have Jupiter in the 12th house now in Leo, so it's a good time to actually meditate and talk with your guides. You're going to be way more protected right now. So even when you're spending time by yourself, you're going to feel much better what you should do. Jupiter is in a position with Pluto in the 6th, okay? Jupiter is also trining Neptune retrograde. So again, investments, not the best time right now. It's time for spiritual alignment, okay? Letting go of certain belief systems. We have Pluto in the 6th house. So also Jupiter in the 12th might tell you, Virgo, sometimes it's okay to rest. It's okay if not giving too much. It's okay. Just relax, spend some time with your friends, just think about your body and what it's asking from you, what you need. Okay. So let me get you a card. All right. Karmic relationships. So karmic relationships can happen anywhere. Okay. It can be romantic. This can be through work, right? Friendships, whatever resonates with you. It's time to let that go. And this usually starts from us not believing in ourselves, like thinking we cannot get better than that. Is that everything I can get? And then you're starting to accept maybe patterns that are not okay or words that are not okay. So this is time to self-reflect and see, am I in a karmic relationship? Sometimes it's family, right? Can be family that is very karmic, very difficult. And how much are you accepting, and where should you set a better boundary? And in some cases, walking away. Okay, a new earth. I feel the new earth is more for you, where you're walking a new path. You're gonna do things differently now. I feel that you want more inner peace. Let me know in the comments if that's you. But I feel a lot of Virgos want more inner peace and less stress. So you've had to stand up for yourself. Baby steps. Okay, so be gentle with yourself. Sometimes it's gonna take a little bit longer. And it's gonna help. And people have to get used to it. So sometimes when you set boundaries that people are not used to, they're going to be angry because you've always done that. Why would you complain now? But at some point, people will get used to new boundaries, okay? Used to the new you, the new path. So respect your body, listen to your health. If anything comes up, listen to your health, take some rest. And yeah. Wishing you all the best. If you want to help me expand my channel, subscribe to it. Also, leave a comment below how this resonates with you. And I hope to see you next time, my lovely Virgos. Libra, sun, moon, and rising. For you, we have this new moon that will happen in the sign of Cancer on the 14th of July in your 10th house. Now, this has to do with your authority, your bosses, your overall purpose. And this new moon is also in a conjunction with Mercury and which is retrograde right now. So maybe you are overlooking, like, am I in the right job? How does this job make me feel? Because it's ruled by the moon, which is all about your emotions. So you will start to kind of introspect and see if this is the right place for you. And if it is, it could also have to do with your boss, maybe some miscommunication with your boss, because Mercury is also in a square with Saturn, which is in the 7th house. So business partnerships, make sure that you share every single step with the person that you're working with, because there might be some, miscommunications. Maybe you're even thinking the same thing, but you just have different ways of explaining it. So make sure that you explain everything well. You go over your work. So the work you've already done, that you go over it and you check if everything is in place. That's very important right now. If you want to change jobs, best thing is to go back to a past company, unless you have Mercury retrograde in your chart, or you're just thinking about it, and you can take action when Mercury is stationing direct on the 23rd of July. So then we also have the South Node with Venus, which is going to be in the 12th house. So the South Node is already related to the past and past lives. Also the 12th house, and it's conjunct Venus. So here we look at, belief systems regarding money, regarding relationships. Is there anything you need to let go of? And actually, these feelings can only come up because they're so unconscious. Through meditation, through hypnosis, you can release these belief systems that you have, literally belief systems, because this Venus and the South Node are squaring Mars and Uranus in the 9th house. So maybe you have to change the way you see things, change the way you want your relationship to be, change the way you see money, right? Because it's time now to change those perspectives. Jupiter now in your 11th house. This is such a beautiful alignment. So it's also time to have fun, enjoy family, enjoy friends. It's opposing Pluto. So it might be that, there might be some transformation happening through your community. Maybe they're telling you something about children or about your creative projects that are a bit triggering, but they might help you see things from a different perspective. So a lot of changes, lots of energy, outgoing energy, okay, in the workplace, with friends, and also these subconscious feelings or unconscious feelings that are coming to the surface that you need time to really dig into. And that will help you also with your health, because the North Node is in Pisces in the 6th house. So, High Priestess or Priest. So these are past life cards, but in general, I feel that you are starting to connect better with your intuition. It's like things are becoming clear to you. Things are being revealed to you, things you need to let go of in order to attract that relationship that you want, in order to get the health that you want to achieve, okay? Because sometimes we are, for example, with the body, we are allergic to something and we have no idea. And then we skip something and we realize, okay, this product was not good for me, because each body is different. We don't know. Ultimately, we have to test, we have to see what works for you. Okay. Then we have medicine man, medicine woman. So I know that I'm talking to some spiritual people. We also have Neptune retrograde now, okay, on the 6th of July. Neptune went retrograde also in the 7th house. Now, this can create a bit of illusions in relationships, okay? Not seeing things very clearly. But Jupiter is in the 11th house. So if you have some good friends, okay, listen to your heart, but your friends might have some good advice and can give you some tips in some situations, okay? Greco-Roman. Okay. So yeah, it could be that you have some past lives related to the Roman Empire. or you're very fascinated by the Roman Empire, okay? But also in general, when it comes to how they did things, right? It was always fighting for something. And does that help? Right? You have Mars, Uranus in the ninth house. Maybe you always fought for things. And then suddenly you just let go and let things flow the way they should happen. And it becomes just much easier. Life becomes much easier. Okay. That's how I see these cards as well. Maybe an interest in herbs because the South Node and Venus can unlock talents from a past life. So maybe you're interested in herbs, healing, and that starts to come back to the surface because we have medicine man, medicine woman. So maybe you want to grow your own foods or have your own herbs and experiment with that. So that would be my message for you, my amazing Libra. Let me know in the comments how this resonates with you. And also you can subscribe to my channel to help me expand this channel as well. So thank you so much for being here, and until next time. Let's move on to Scorpio. So here we have this new moon in your fellow water sign, making a beautiful trine to your sun, moon, and rising, especially if it's around 21 degrees. Okay. Now this new moon is in a conjunction with Mercury, which is retrograde. So some of you Scorpio might be traveling back to a place you've been before, especially places around water are very good. So you could be going to the river, to the sea. Okay. But definitely some time to self-reflect. Maybe you want to watch some, documentaries about the world, having some nostalgia on what an ideal world would look like, or maybe going back to your past and thinking, that was just so good. These times were so good. Like, what belief systems can I change to make me feel good again, right? Because Cancer is ruled by the moon. Ninth house is all about your belief systems. So yeah, traveling for a lot of you is on on the cards. Jupiter is now in the 10th house, so it's a fantastic time for your career. So maybe you have to change your belief system as well in order for you to execute things in your career. Maybe you had some beliefs about yourself that, you couldn't do a certain thing, and now you're starting to connect with yourself, meditate, be in nature, especially by water, and that makes you revise, like, maybe this is something I can do, this is maybe something I want to achieve. So it's a great year in general to launch a business, to get a promotion, or to apply for the job that you had in mind. Now the best is to wait until Mercury is direct, okay, after the 23rd of July. But if you have Mercury retrograde in your chart, that's fine. Or you can apply to a job that you've worked with before, or clients you've worked with before. That's all fine, okay? Even getting a client during Mercury retrograde is okay. It usually just indicates that that is the client that maybe is not long-term. That's all. So Venus is with the South Node in Virgo in the 11th house. So Scorpio, it could be that you're letting go of some friends, even though it's from a place of love, or people from the past might be coming back, okay? Friends from the past might be coming back. You're starting to reconnect. They might be coming back for you to talk with them again and close the book, or the book is open again and you will, sometimes you lose contact and then you're in the same vibration again and you start to continue this friendship again. Okay, so this can happen during this time. We have Mars and Uranus squaring Venus and the South Node, and also the North Node in the 5th house. So this friend that can come back, or this community that you're connecting with again, they might give you some really creative ideas, okay? Some ideas that will help you with your projects. Maybe you are getting pregnant and people are coming back because the North Node is in Pisces there and they're congratulating you. Okay, or they might give you some ideas for investments, but do a lot of research because, as I said, Mercury is still retrograde there. So it's better to wait until the end of the month. We have Saturn in the 6th house squaring Mercury retrograde in the 9th. So even if you're traveling, maybe work can still be demanding and saying, okay, you need to look at this, you need to look at that, or you're keeping like this really strict discipline when it comes to your routines. Okay, some people that are watching are not working, but it's a time to have a strict routine, like maybe waking up in the morning, walk your dog, or go to the supermarket. Like, you have certain routine, and watching your health as well is very, very important. Okay, don't do too many things or too little. This is a time to take responsibility in your day-to-day life, and in some cases it could be your work, where you need to have a lot of responsibility. You have a lot of luck in your work, but also it will take a lot of effort. Let me get you a card, Scorpio. Forgiveness. So maybe around this time there's someone you need to forgive. With Cancer, it could be a mother, right? But also in the ninth house, this is related to teachers. So maybe you had a teacher that you had fallen out with, and you need to talk with this teacher. Okay, I'm getting the Roman Empire High Priest or Priestess. So Scorpio, a lot of you are, ninth house is also prophetic, right? Like prophetic visions, things you can see happen in the future, because the ninth house gives you this overview of things. So you're looking at the past, and it's giving you answers of the future. Okay. And Greco-Roman, so thinking about the Roman Empire, and I had the same card for Libra. It's like, maybe sometimes we're trying so much to fight, and we're trying so much to make things happen, to conquer things. But right now it's water. It's about letting it happen. Jupiter in Leo is about self-expression, like follow your heart. So instead of trying to push something and, allow things to flow a little bit more, do, each day a little bit. It's more than doing nothing, right? So each day, work on your routines, do something, just do something. And that is already enough, because when we're trying to do too much at once, sometimes we block ourselves. Okay. So that's my message for you, my amazing Scorpio. Thank you so much for being here. If you want to help me expand my channel, subscribe to it. And I'll see you next time. Thank you so much. Sagittarius. So Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising, we have this new moon in Cancer on the 14th of July at 21 degrees in your 8th house. Now, 8th house is all about investments. This is about transformation. This is about shared resources. So when Mercury is retrograde, it's time to also overlook your paperwork, okay? Your insurances, your investments, all of those things. It's a good time to investigate, but it's not a good time to take action yet. Okay, same with loans, maybe for a mortgage. Just see what are the possibilities. So this is time to investigate. And when Mercury goes direct, you will have a stronger indication of, okay, now it's time to move forward. Also, we have Jupiter in Leo now, so trining your Sun, Moon, and Rising. So this gives you this boost. It's a time to travel overseas, do backpacking. Maybe you're also experimenting with belief systems, like religion, spirituality, thinking about what suits best. Becoming a teacher, I know, like naturally, Sagittarius, you are a natural teacher. Like, a lot of Sagittarius are fantastic teachers, but you learn through experience, so not so much through other teachers. And if you do learn from another teacher, you really have to respect this teacher. Okay, so let me know in the comments. But I know, Sagittarius, you are more keen on traveling, learning yourself, studying yourself, and then do the teaching. Okay, so big transformation, also an inheritance through family, maybe a house through family. Okay, but you need to really go through all the papers, because nowadays we have so many taxes and things, okay, that you need to organize. You could be earning money through previous investments as well, or previous things that you put your money into that are coming back to you right now. We have the South Node and Venus in your 10th house. So maybe you're going back to a job where you worked for before. You might be unlocking new talents or gifts from a past life that you're going to add to your life. Okay, these gifts could be coming through talking with a partner as well, that's saying, like, you know what, you're just really good at this, that, and that. Because the Venus and the South Node are in a square with Mars and Uranus in the seventh. So they might be making comments about you, like, oh, yeah, you're such a great singer, you're such a good writer, you're such a good speaker. You should do something with that, okay? We have the North Node in the fourth house. Maybe you're starting to work from home as well, okay? Having this hybrid work from home. It's just really important that your home is a harmonious place and you feel good, or have one base and you're going to travel, because it's also a time to go away. So, or to travel to different places. So make sure to match everything well, because your life might be pulled into different directions. And even in relationships, it might have been a bit heated at the beginning of the month, but that's going to calm down right now, okay? Now, Mercury retrograde is in a square with Saturn in the fifth house. So there might be some, especially if you're going through a divorce or custody, you need to really lay out everything and do a lot of investigation. You might be wanting to give money or loan money to your children. Just make sure that you do your research. I would say research is one of the biggest things. Even research for work, right? If you're an accountant, you're in the medical field, it's time to do research, okay? Look into things. I have these past life cards, Sagittarius. I'm getting unrequited love, okay? So I think most people have experienced that in life. And with Venus conjunct the South Node in the 10th house, it could be a rejection in the job place. So it's leading you to the right, place either to live. So maybe you move because you're leaving a job. So you're moving to a different place with the North Node in the 4th house. Sometimes it's literally that it's unrequited love, and sometimes one rejection is redirection. So you will meet someone that is better suiting for you. So even if you don't see it right now, sometimes rejection is a blessing, okay? Food and hunger. So you might be working in the food industry, or working more on cooking, because Chiron now is in your 6th house. So it's very important to listen to your body, to eat healthy. And also Chiron can make you a bit more insecure about your body, even though you have the best body. And what I've seen, actually, the people that look the fittest and the best, they are the most critical to themselves, right? So also with Venus South Node, it's time to be less critical to ourselves, okay? But yeah, definitely past clients, past jobs, and letting go of this critical mind for our body, for our work. Like, I should do better. Look at this mother. Some of you had a critical mother, maybe even someone that really expected a lot from you, or maybe was worried, right? Came from a place of worrying that became a little bit too much for you to handle. Okay, so with 8th house new moon, it's time for transformation, also regarding mother. Okay, so there could be forgiveness. This could be seeing things from a different perspective. Maybe your mother is helping you financially as well. That can definitely happen with this alignment. Male, female. So this is definitely about balancing your male qualities with your female qualities, okay? And everybody has that. Like, some men are more female energy and some women are more male, and other way around, okay? There's no judgment in what element is overruling. You just have to be yourself, but it has to be a little balanced, because sometimes we have to take action and discipline. But if we only take action and discipline, then we also don't let, things just flow naturally. So we have to find a balance in between. But definitely a fantastic time. You're going to really experience what freedom means to you. So yeah, I'm wishing you all the best, Sagittarius. Enjoy this fantastic time for you. A lot of new insights, and let the transformation happen, because sometimes we have to make space for the new. So thank you so much. Let's move on to Capricorn. So Capricorn, Sun and Rising, we have this new moon in Cancer in your 7th house, okay? And Cancer is ruled by the moon. So here we look at how we feel about our relationship, romantic relationship, business relationship. Mercury is retrograde. in a conjunction with this new moon. So there might be some miscommunication happening with your partner, romantic partner. And also Mercury retrograde is in a square with Saturn in the fourth house. So this could be related to housing, your house. Maybe one wants to redecorate, the other one doesn't want to redecorate. You're thinking about buying a house, okay? If you're in real estate, this might be a little bit more difficult time as well. If you're working with some kind of collaboration or business partner, it might take a longer time to sell houses, okay? And if you're single, you're just really looking back and maybe at your past relationships to see like what should I change, how did I really feel about this relationship, what is good for me. We have Venus in a conjunction with the south node in the ninth house, so you might visit someone from the past, like overseas. And I always say, like, with the south node, it doesn't mean it can't work out. Some things can work out, but it goes according to the karmic sheet. So sometimes it's visiting someone to close something, and sometimes it's visiting someone to reopen. Okay, but you have to let time unfold naturally to see how that goes. Okay, now Venus and the south node are also in a square with Mars and Uranus in the sixth house. So if you're traveling, be careful with your health, also with your job. Like, they might be sending you sudden messages at weird times, because Uranus is very unexpected. Gemini is all about communication. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is retrograde, squaring Saturn. So communication is a little bit tough. Okay, so make sure that you really are organized with work, and also set good boundaries if you're on a trip. Like, okay, this is the amount of work I can do, and this is something I cannot do. Okay, so a sudden trip for work might also happen, a place you've been before, traveling to a place you've been before in general. Okay, we get male, female, okay, and mother. So, very often we end up in a relationship that reminds us of our mother or home situation. So if we haven't worked on our patterns in love, okay, and Venus conjunct South Node can mean that we have to let go of being critical in love, critical of ourselves, critical of our partner. So now it's time to look into this mother line and send some forgiveness, okay? Maybe your mother taught you things about love that are not very applicable to your life right now, because each and every one of us, we have different wishes, different things we want for relationships. So one thing is not working for someone else. So we really have to look at what works for you, Capricorn. I'm getting male, female. Okay, maybe for some of you that are in same-sex relationship, maybe your mother, your parents said, like, this is how it's supposed to be. This is how I'm supposed to function. Or even a male-female relationship that they want you to be in a traditional relationship, and you just feel like, I want to do things differently. I don't want to get married, but I want to be in a long-term relationship. So each person gets to decide on their own. And now you're just really going back into your family line, into this nostalgia. Like, what is it that you truly want from a partner, from a business partner? Okay. Do you like someone that's a little bit more in the female energy or male energy? Okay. Doesn't matter the gender, but what is your interest? What is it that you are looking for? Okay. What is it, the belief system that your family has with Venus and the South Node in the ninth house? And what do you believe in? All paths lead to home. Okay, all paths lead to home. So sometimes we desire this home in family, right? And sometimes that is with family. Maybe we're coming circle back around, and sometimes you create your own home, your own family with your belief system, what you stand for, okay? So it's inner authority, intuition. So follow your intuition, Capricorn. What is it that you want? What is it that is important to you? Because many people will have many opinions, okay? But that doesn't matter. Ultimately, you have to be happy. Uranus and Mars in the sixth house. Okay, now they're separating a little bit, but it could have been that you had a bit of a fever at the beginning of the month, or like headaches. Let me know if that was you. Like it can create some headaches or like overthinking, but that's going to settle from this new moon. So it's going to definitely get better. So that's my message for you, my amazing Capricorn. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time. Let's move on to Aquarius. So Aquarius, Sun and Rising. For you, we have this new moon on the 14th of July at 21 degrees in your sixth house, and it's conjuncting Mercury Retrograde. And this is all about your routines, your health. Now, Cancer is ruled by the moon. So what are you feeling? Like maybe you're overeating when you're feeling bad or feeling good. Are you undereating? So you have to revise kind of your diet, your routines, like how how you want to work. Also in the workplace, maybe you have to revise your work, revise some work you've done. It's also Mercury's retrograde and it's squaring Saturn in the third. So communication might be very difficult. Like you're not understanding your colleagues. Maybe your clients are kind of getting this miscommunication with you. So the more you prepare, because Saturn likes preparation, the less you're dealing with miscommunication, because Mercury retrograde is literally just doing your research. It's a more inward energy, and that's why, because we internalize it, we sometimes forget to express how much already happened internal. Okay, so it's just that actually people with Mercury retrograde in the natal chart are very deep thinkers. It's just that they assume they said the whole story, but then they tell only some part of the story, which creates the miscommunication. Okay. Also with siblings, there might be some miscommunication with siblings, or if you're traveling for work, make sure that you have good agreements. Neptune is also in the third house now, retrograde. Okay, so communication is a bit wishy-washy, and maybe that's because some of you are meeting someone new, because Jupiter is in the seventh house. So maybe you just met like a new partner, new person, new business partner. You're just so excited that you're forgetting to focus on the day-to-day things. Okay, definitely the year to meet love. Okay, Aquarius, especially Aquarius rising, and that's because the Jupiter is in opposition with Pluto. So you might be really like transforming your identity, your personality. You're seeing things differently. You're definitely working on your patterns when it comes to romance. Venus and the South Node in the eighth house. So you're ready to let go of everything no longer serving you. In some cases with this placement, we can also see money from previous investments, insurances, taxes, and money can be coming back to you. Also, it's not a good time to do new investments, okay? With the South Node and Venus, it's more about things you've done in the past. Going over your shared resources with your partner as well. Maybe they're overspending from the shared bank account, or you're like, yeah, is that something that we discussed? I don't know. It's also squaring Uranus and Mars in the fifth house, so be very careful for unexpected children, pregnancy, if that's not what you want. Okay, if that's what you want, then okay. But yeah, there might, if you're dating someone new, there might be some things not fully clear. So give things time to unfold. Okay, give things time to unfold. What do we have? I keep getting the same cards. That's crazy. Okay, we're talking about karmic relationships. So, Aquarius, I feel like you're done with karmic relationships. Maybe friendships, may that be romantic relationships. If you are in one, because sometimes Jupiter in the seventh house can split a relationship, okay? Make space for a new one. So, don't think that Jupiter is like only giving really good things. Like sometimes is what you need. Okay, so it can separate, so someone new can come in. Okay, that I've seen happening as well. It's not always like, oh, now we're getting married, and you're like, but Jupiter is in the seventh house. It should give me all these amazing things. It does. For some people, it gives marriage actually this year, commitment. But like I said, Jupiter will give you what you need. It's the planet of expansion and faith. Male, female. Okay, so you are integrating your male and female side, okay, to act when you need to, but also to be receptive when it's necessary. Not always be give, or receive. This is not good for a relationship. If anything is out of order, you get karmic relationship. Okay, so it should be compromise. Seventh house is compromise, give and take. We breathe in and we breathe out. Okay, everything is cycles. So then we have mother here. So it could be that a conversation with your mother, she will tell you something about relationships or what she thinks about a specific situation, and she might give you some advice that's going to be very helpful. Imprisonment, I'm getting. These are these past life cards, right? So maybe Aquarius, because I know people with Aquarius energy, you're afraid to be caged in a relationship. Okay, so you need to be with someone that lets you be free. Let me know in the comments if that's you. But Aquarius, you love to be in a relationship. You're still a fixed sign, right? So you like the stability, but it's like you don't want to feel like someone is trapping you. That's like biggest alarm bells. Like you need to have your own freedom, your own time, and then you would love to connect with your partner. But the more freedom they give you, the better your relationship is going to be for you. So that's my message for you, my amazing Aquarius. Thank you so much for being here. And until next time. So let's go to Pisces, Sun, and Rising. We have this beautiful trine with this new moon to your sign, right? Sun, Moon, and Rising. This new moon will be on the 14th of July at 21 degrees in your 5th house. So it's time for you to dive back into your childhood, nostalgia, working on your inner child. Like, where did you feel not seen? We have Mercury retrograde in a square with Saturn in the 2nd house. So where did you feel maybe unseen, unworthy? So by visualizing or going back to your inner child or your childhood, you can resolve things that will help you with more income, or seeing a different perspective about, your self-worth and income, right? Because in astrology, we link self-worth with income, because the more we value ourselves, the higher the salary, because it's an internal process that will be on the external, will be matched with how you feel on the inside. Okay, you might be talking to someone from the past. Okay, this could be a difficult talk. This could even be like thoughts going back to past romantic relationships, and really seeing that, is this someone I want to continue with? Is this something like story I want to reopen, or is this a story that we're going to close? We're going to have a closing conversation. And even sometimes you can forgive someone just by yourself. You can write a letter to that person, okay, and send it in your mind if you cannot connect with the person you're with. Okay, then fertility, pregnancy is possible, but it might be taking a little bit longer. Okay, so don't give up if that's you, because we have Saturn in the mix, and that might make the process slower. Or birth is you have a little bit later birth if you're about to pop. Jupiter now is in the 6th house. Okay, so good for work, maybe getting new job offers, new clients, changing jobs. Now 10th house is usually to get a higher position, but 6th house is mostly having a job that is kind of like, same kind of job that you already have, maybe a little bit better. But this change could be good. You could get along with your colleagues very well in general. Okay, if you're not switching job, you can just have a really good time with your colleagues, being very creative at work. Also, when it comes to your routines, like you will have a certain routine that really works for you. Going to the gym, okay. Jupiter is in a fire sign, so you could either become very lazy, because Leo can be very lazy, or it can be very active. Okay, Pisces. So that depends how that's going to work for you. Then we have Venus and the South Node in the 7th house. So again, we have this aspect of past love. Okay, and it's in Virgo. Virgo is critic, perfectionistic. So Pisces, you have sometimes this utopian view maybe of what relationships should be like. And especially now, Neptune is also retrograde since the 6th of July. You might be internalizing, like, what is really love to you? Maybe you expected too much or too little. So the South Node in Venus is about letting go of past thoughts about relationships and business partnerships as well. You could literally let go of a relationship, or someone from the past could be coming back, but it's really up to you if you're going to relive this relationship or you want to close it. Okay, we discussed that before. And Venus and the South Node are in a square with Uranus and Mars, so it could be a sudden move, moving out, moving in with each other. Yeah, it could be a huge change because the North Node is about to go in Aquarius. Okay, so these are the last lessons that are coming true to make you feel more independent. So the decision that you make, if you stay in a relationship or you leave a relationship, most important is that you, Pisces, are not losing yourself, even if someone is coming next to you. Okay, that's the test. Like, can you become a whole and complete person for yourself and your authentic self, right? Nobody's perfect, but not giving too much away in a relationship, or and focusing on the things that are more important for you. Also, past talents might be coming up, or you're working on creative projects. They might be going a bit slower than expected, but keep pursuing that. Spirituality and religion. So this is very important for you, okay? And maybe now, because your planets are mainly in like earthly houses, or houses that are more towards grounded perspectives, you use your spirituality in your day-to-day life. That's going to help you, okay? So because sometimes we think that when we're spiritual we should just sit in meditation, but actually it can help you just do your job better, to understand people better, see bigger picture, better perspective, and be more calm when people are triggering you. We get transportation. Well, we have Chiron now in the 3rd house. So make sure to double check everything if you're buying any transportation, okay? Also, it's in Taurus. Taurus wants luxury, and Chiron is like, no, I cannot afford it. So try to buy something that's a bit in between. Ship. So some of you are traveling, okay? We're getting transportation, ships. Maybe you want to buy a ship, some of you. Or just travel, thinking about traveling. Okay, I'm getting male, female. I got this card for many other signs. I feel like we're really trying to integrate our male and female sides better. I think we've been in a society that was very male dominant, so very active and pursuing and achieving. And the feminine side is like, I want to be receptive. And I think if we mix both, if we're trying to be a little bit slower in life, a little bit more gentle with ourselves, more flowy, which I think, Pisces, you're very good at because you're ruled by water. So you're more receptive, okay? But we have to listen to our body. Are we someone that goes more with the flow, or are we trying to push and it's not very natural to you, okay? So these are questions that you're going to look at. And that would be my message for you, my amazing Pisces. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, bye-bye.